Hey guys, so this season is now 1 week old and I have spent my time exclusively with Flurry Rogue and I tried to push this build to its limits. So for that reason I also did some runs in the tower and currently I'm at 127 and I believe this is the rank 1 for Flurry Rogue, since there are not many players who play Flurry, but I have checked quite a few of them above me in the leaderboards and I could find no Flurry player above me, so I think this is the current rank 1 Flurry build. But anyways, just give you a little footage here of the gameplay, so you can push with this build. I think 130 is possible. This heavily depends on a few factors. One very important factor is that SSF, the unique sword for cold builds, is still bugged currently, even though they have written in the patch notes that they have fixed the bug with SSF. It's still in the game, so sometimes it will proc and deal a massive cold explosion, sometimes it will not. And yeah, for that reason, it's kinda lottery if you are able to push or not high enough. So yeah, I didn't want to invest 10 hours or so into pushing and just finding good maps and finding bosses where SSF works. But I think if you do that, it's possible to clear 130, just so you know how good Flurry Rogue currently is. Then we have another rogue bug, which is back again. So maybe you already noticed in leaderboards, we have rogues that finished 150 tower runs, and this is clearly not a real build. It's again the bug that we had also in previous season. I don't want to go into the details too much here, but it has to do with a certain item combination and maybe an ultimate skill. So yeah, currently Rogue is bugged again, so the entire leaderboard competition is kinda dead at this point because of this bug, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Thank you, Blizzard. But we will talk about the build updates in this video today. So this will be the final Flurry Rogue update. I will show you everything that I have changed in the last couple of days. And also, if you want to try your luck at the tower and in the leaderboard, so in the pit, try to push as far as possible, I will show you my setup. And yeah, we will see how it goes. So by the way, I did not finish 128, so we can also just close this video here. So what has changed with Flurry? The first thing that I realized, we currently have more bugs in the game. So Assassin Glyph is also bugged, and for that reason I have removed it from the Paragon board. By the way, I also updated my Mobilitics guide, so everything that I will tell you in this video is also in the planner as usual, linked in the description or comment section. So I removed Assassin's Glyph from every Paragon board and all of my build variations. So now instead of Assassin, we are playing with Versatility. Versatility is not really good for Flurry itself, but it boosts the damage of our Shadow Clone, and Shadow Clone is dealing also a lot of damage in this build, so for that reason that's the best glyph that we can take after Assassinate or Assassin. Yeah, once this is fixed, Flurry Rogue is also better, but yeah, it is what it is. Then I also have a mythic, so yeah, we are talking about the mythic variant today. I have acquired a couple of other mythic items, or at least one. I have this SSF, but I also have a couple of new uniques with the Signet of Palkine and Shrouded Gift. And also talking about mythics, I have a mythic seal. This is this one, Seal of the Diamond Mind. And if you want to play the variant that I used for tower pushing, unfortunately you will need this mythic seal. But the good news is they have buffed the drop chances of mythic seals. At least I have this information from Vudijo. So maybe it's true. I also found this quite early on in the season. And with this mythic seal, you can acquire 2 sets at the same time. So here you can see I have Blurring Blade set, but I'm also using the Sightless set. And this is pretty cool because this allows me to get another the offensive layer, like I get another 60% damage. I also get another 30% damage reduction. So pretty good for defenses as well. But the number one reason why I really like this combination is the sightless set also allows me to spam my ultimate skill, the Shadow Clone. Because every time I enter stealth, I will reduce the cooldowns of my ultimate skills by 6 seconds. And now we have this very juicy combination of Shrouded Gift, which says whenever I gain stealth, I also gain concealment. This is very important because concealment is a very useful skill since it gives us 14% critical strike chance, and critical strike chance is very, very important for this build. It's very hard to get critical strike chance right now, and for that reason concealment is very good. Also gives us movement speed, so with Shrouded Gift we get access to concealment, and with the sightless set, like I mentioned, we get access to cooldown reduction, massive cooldown reduction for our Shadow Clone. So this means once I pop my Shadow Clone, I can just dash around, flurry around, again dash around, and now you can see my Shadow Clone is ready again, okay? So this is because we have this, the synergy of the set, and we can spam dash thanks to this Blurring Blade set. Every time we hit enemies with cutthroat skills, we can reset agility skills. And so this combination allows us to spam all of our skills, basically. And this is very powerful. So for that reason, you need the Seal of the Diamond Mind. Otherwise, just stick to the normal endgame variant. But yeah, for the highest amount of damage and endgame pushing, this is unfortunately required. Let's continue. So we have this. Then let's talk about this new pushing variant. So again, I have a couple of new uniques. But especially this one here, the Signet of Pelkheim Ring. This unique is only used for pushing, so here enemies take 15% increased damage every time we freeze them, and for each second they are frozen. So this is very helpful if you want to push and yeah, just maximize your damage over a long period of time. So yeah, this ring pretty good. Then we also have a Cry Rune now. Maybe you've seen this in the gameplay. So yeah, basically we now can push enemies, pull enemies together. So maybe you can see this in a second here. So this is very helpful for pushing as well, since Flurry doesn't have a very good AoE, but with the Cry Rune we can just pull everything together, and then Flurry will hit most of our targets, as you can see here. So yeah, this is very helpful. So Cry Rune, very good. And then we also have Smoke Grenade. So instead of the Poison Imbuement passive skill, which I only use for damage reduction, we can now use Smoke Grenade. And with Smoke Grenade, we will enter stealth once each second. And as I explained a few minutes ago, entering stealth is very good because this gives us concealment and this gives us cooldown reduction for Shadow Clone. So this is just a very nice utility skill for fighting elites or bosses, and this will give you more cooldown and concealment procs. Yeah, pretty good. Also gives us crit chance, which again is very important. So now I can also just quickly go over all of my gear. I think at this point my gear is pretty maxed out. Of course, I could improve a couple pieces here and there, but the gear that I'm showing you right now is pretty much the end game, like the end game for Flurry Rogue, how it can look like. So yeah, everything that you saw in the gameplay is the result of this gear mostly. So one last thing, Frostburn might be also best in slot actually, and the simple reason for that is that, like I mentioned, the Azareth unique sword, this is very important unique because it makes enemies explode after the freeze expires, and this explosion is a main part of our damage, but currently it is bugged against bosses, so it will, most of the time, it will not proc, it will proc only a few times. So what I have figured out is if you have another source of freezing, like Frostburn, so if you equip Frostburn, then the chances are higher that the boss will also get frozen during staggering. And if freeze effects are the only factor for the staggering of the boss, then you just saw it. We had a huge explosion. This was the SSF. And with Frostburn, it is much more likely that the SSF explosion will happen on bosses. But for that reason, you will need to find a good Frostburn. Right now I have a pretty decent one, but it's lacking critical strike chance. So here I'm losing like 20-25% DPS. So right now it's not good enough for me to use them. But Frostburn might be best in slot actually if you find a decent pair. Because they are just more likely to proc SSF for boss fights. So yeah, that's something I have also found out so far. But yeah, that's mostly the rogue. The last update for my Flurry rogue. Yeah, right now the season, I know the season is not very good for most people. Maybe some of you already have quit the season. So we are currently in the patch waiting room, waiting for some juicy patches to increase the drop rates for mythic items, for example. So yeah, I also have to admit this season is not really good. So I think I also might be done with the season at this point after 1 week. Maybe I will try out Twisting Blades rogue as well, just because I have all of the gear for it as well. But yeah, season not pretty good. So hopefully the next one will be a bit more impactful. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you have questions, just write them down in the comments. I will try to answer them as usual. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day and bye-bye.